All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's on the Power. So I'm going to do a video showing you guys what I was talking about in my previous videos about how heavily Phil Heath was breathing during the comparison round of the Olympia. And this is why I think that Phil Heath really lost the Olympia, is in between poses, it looked like he was breathing through his stomach. And I think that really worked to be a disadvantage for Phil. There's even one point during the posing where Sean looked at Phil because he was breathing so hard. And Sean just completely stopped what he was doing to look at Phil's gut, because honestly, this is where I think Phil started slipping. As they got deeper and deeper into the poses, Phil seemed to be more and more winded. And as he was doing that, he relaxed his gut heavily to the point where almost everybody was looking at him. Rolly, Sean, and Bonac, because he was breathing so heavily, and it was apparent that he was almost breathing through his stomach and relaxing his stomach extremely between those poses. And I think this is best evident in the videos. You can't really see it as much in the photos. So when you look at the photos, it's kind of hard to see exactly why Phil lost. But I think this is a big factor in why he did, because it was extremely noticeable in between the poses. And while you're watching this abs and thighs here, Phil was the first one to stop holding the abs and thighs. He almost looked like he was in pain while he was holding it. And I don't think this comes across as clearly in the photo comparisons, because in the photos you can see Phil completely hitting each pose, and you can't really see the transitions between poses. But in the transitions, you could definitely see the weak point for Phil, and I think that's why he lost. He had the biggest weak point on stage, which did happen to be his midsection. It was the same story as last year. And a lot of people will say, well, it's not about who has the best abs on stage, it's about who's the most complete bodybuilder. And I think even if you're a very complete bodybuilder like Phil Heath, when you have this big of a glaring weakness on stage, it's really going to hurt you. I mean, Phil arguably had the biggest weak point on stage in that midsection, and it really worked to his disadvantage there. So even though I feel like it wasn't as bad as it was last year, I still think the problem was definitely there. It was definitely very apparent, and I do think it was a problem worthy of dinging him and putting him in second this year. I think, he can be a very complete bodybuilder, but at some point, they've got to stop rewarding the top guy for coming in with a problem like this and telling him, okay, you need to really correct this if you want to be Mr. Olympia. You got to come back without this problem if you're going to win. We kind of looked the other way last year, but this year it's going to be a different story. You really got to correct this problem, because this year it's very, very evident in between.